Welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Chuck, and this is The Thunder Show, aka WLTV, Wine Library TV Viewers' Choice Awards today. 3 wines on the table, all picked by the viewers. The random robot machine picked these wines, and here's what he came up with. And I'm really darn excited about it. It is a laid-back Friday. I am feeling and loving the couch. It has been a hectic week, and I'm really looking forward to the weekend. And speaking of the weekend, I will be taking the entire weekend to email everybody back. So I really apologize. There's some people that are 2-3 weeks in the queue. I mean, my inbox looks like a diarrhea explosion. I'm scared of it. I am absolutely intimidated by it, but I will get to it. So I'm excited about that. What else is going on here? I mean, it's obviously been a crazy week. The spit bucket is back in the house, and that makes me very happy. One big thing, let's link it up again, because I'm going to continue to push people joining the Wine Library TV forum. But what I want to do now is put the introduce yourself, because I have to give a big shout out to SoCal, Dark Soldier, Rich S, and all the other Vaniacs, and there's several other of you, I'm sorry I didn't call out by name, but that are welcoming people on the introduction. I call them the Welcome Committee, and the Welcome Committee needs something special. We're going to have to do something for those guys. It's really sweet. It's what I'm about, and it makes people feel comfortable. It is a forum of fun. You need to check that out. Other than that, what do I want to talk about? I want to talk about the wristband. A lot of people, after the Conan appearance, want to know how do they get a wristband. We just printed out a whole bunch. The original Vaniacs pre-Conan know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's give them a link to Gary has one last thing to say. You'll scroll down, you'll see a form, you fill that out, and we will send you a beautiful $49 value wristband directly to your home for free. Because that's how we do. Right, Mom? That's how we do. And then you got to send in a picture. And nobody's doing that. That's like a whole... I'm sad about that.
It's been real quiet.
It's been quiet. It's been real darn quiet. But do that. That was all part of a GaryIsSorry.com little thing. So if you're new to that, link that up as well. We're going to keep that man busy. Let's keep myself busy. And all the people that are here for the real stuff, the information about wine, not all the tactics and things and everything like that. Tate, 2005 Ball Buster from Barossa. This was asked to be tasted by Russ J. This is an 82% Shiraz, 9% Cabernet Sauvignon, and 9% Merlot from the Barossa Valley. This wine is 92 points, Robert Parker, and $16 US. So you're talking about a tremendous price ratings ratio. The PR squared is very high on this wine, and I'm excited about trying this. My fears are clearly that it will be another fruit bomb. Let's see what's going on here. What kind of alcohol content? Real curious for myself. 15.5 alcohol content. It is absolutely, positively not trying to be bashful. Let's see if it's got some guts besides just fruit. Let's give it a little sniffy sniff. And it's definitely got that huge amount of raspberry jam. I like to call it cooked raspberry jam. It's very fruity. Give me a couple fruit roll-ups. There's a Skittle or two in here as well, and we know how much we love the Skittles. The rainbow is in play on the nose on this wine. Very extracted, very, once again, you know, jammy, dessert-esque on the nose. Let's give it a little bit of a whirl. It's a very concentrated wine. It's got an enormous amount of body on the palate. Very heavy. Very jammy, fruity again. I'm going to go with strawberry jam meets raspberry jam. Let's throw a couple of pieces of cassis in there for kicks and giggles. It's a big wine. The alcohol is definitely coming through on this wine. It's definitely giving me a good kick in the pants. It's a little hot on the palate. It is finishing a little hot. Reminds me of the Molly Dukers we did a couple of weeks ago in that fashion. It's a big, juicy wine. There are some complex components behind this. This is not just fruit, so that's a good thing. To me, it's a nice wine. I think the heat is definitely an issue. It's still hot on my palate. I think it's going to turn some people off. People that love the roller coasters, the big fruit bombs, old world fans, this is out. This is much more for the new world love. This is a big, big, juicy monster of a wine. It is slightly off balanced. and you know, you can kind of sweep the leg. You know, it's off balance. It's gonna try to get you, but you can like sweep the leg, Johnny. You know, like that kind of thing. You can sweep the leg on this and beat this wine. I'm gonna score this wine 88 points. I think it's solid. I like it. 16 bones. It's definitely worth giving a whirl to. I don't see the 92 points for Parker. I don't agree with that for sure, because once again, I think there is some off-balancedness to this wine. The mid-palate's a little hollow to me. The finish is firm and big, but hot, and that turns me off. I'm a little bit more of a cold guy, and you know, I'm just not feeling it all the way. But once again, there's a lot of nice components, and so at 16 bones, it's not too much of a problem. But 16 makes me think of Vinny Testaverde, who, let's be honest, Vinny, I know you're probably watching, you are an out-and-out traitor. You're on the Patriots. I don't want to hear it. Vinny, you are not a Jet. I don't care what anybody says. I remember 98. It was a great season. I went crazy. I cried. It was awesome. But you know what? You're a traitor. You signed with the Patriots, you're a goddamn traitor. And if you don't think that's why the Pats lost to the Colts last year, it is. So Patriot fans, if you're watching right now, dial up Vinny. Hello? Is Vinny there? Yeah, you suck. That's why you guys didn't make it, because that man was on your roster, and that man does not win championships. Ask the university, or how they like to call themselves, DU. Ask DU fans. Old school DU fans. DU? Yeah, they know Vinny T. He's not a winner. Let's move on. Truchard, 2001, really great year in California. Syrah, Carneros Valley, from Napa Valley, 24 US dollars, 90 points, Robert Parker. I'm a big fan of Carneros in general, so I'm excited about trying this. Again, 90 points Parker, which is a real nice score. 24 bones, you know, not too expensive, but definitely not a value. And so let's give this a little bit of a sniff. Auto Proxy on the comment section asked us to taste this, so big up to AP. He's gonna be pumped. His wine got chosen, and so let's see what this has got all going on. I'm really liking the nose. I'm really excited about the nose, actually. Very interesting nose. It's got it's got some candiness as well, but definitely not as over the top as the Tate is. There's a definite, obvious black pepper component going on here. For some unknown reason, I'm also getting like a sashimi, like a raw tuna component, which is very different. I would not call this fishy, but there's definitely a sushimi, raw sushi, you know, salmon, tuna with a lot of soy sauce component going on in the nose to go along with the black pepper and the bright, almost like cantaloupe nose. This is a very interesting nose, and once again, you know, it's hitting my sweet spot. I am a sucker for the bouquet, the nose. I should have been in the perfume business. I could have dominated. Let's give this a whirl. In anything you do, it's all about the line you walk. Sometimes you go too over the top. Even me on my show. Lots of people email me, not a lot, but some. You know, you're a jerk or obnoxious. I'm not that wrong. That being said, this wine is walking the line perfectly of New World. If you're an Old World fan, one that doesn't as much like the Australian Shiraz, the fruit bombs from Spain, California, you find yourself, this is a wine you may want to seek out. It's got tremendous complexity throughout. Very uncanny kind of finish, which I'm really liking. More Northern Rhone in its attack. A little cold roti action for the kids. Very polished. I like this wine quite a bit, but it's definitely a New World wine. It's got an enormous amount of fruit. It's not sugarified, but the fruit is very sweet. The tannins are sweet. What I like is that it finishes so dry and so complex. You know, I like to talk about soil mud pie. You know, I'm into that. That has this component. Little bell pepper, not dill, but like almost leafy. It just tastes leafy. If you ever popped a couple of fall leaves in your mouth after a rainstorm, that's where it's got component-wise on the finish. Around the fruit, around the little hints of pepper. This is a very intriguing wine. It really goes from New World to Old World very quickly, and in the mid palate, it transitions, and that's where the sparks fly. It's in that transition that I really, really enjoy this wine. This is a nice wine. I'm going to agree with Parker. I'm going to go 90 points on this wine. You know, let's go 91 points on this wine. I like this a whole lot. 24 bones, it is what it, I mean, that, to me, that's right. You know, this is a $25 bottle of wine. It's a 91-point wine. It's definitely worth seeking out. It's 2001, so a little older than a lot of things that are in the market right now, which makes it a little more polished, a little more round. I like this wine. This is something worth seeking out. Pretty cool. I like it quite a bit more than Tate. Not bad at all. Let's move on. Rinse. Nick P. asked us to try this. This is the 2002 Chateau Pavie from Saint-Emilion, Grand Cru Class A. 100 US dollars and 94 points, Robert Parker. It's basically about 70 or so percent Merlot with about 20 or so percent Cab Franc and 10% Cabernet. That's usually around the blend that Pavie does. So it's a predominant Merlot wine. And it's Saint-Emilion, which is a great area. What's intriguing about this wine is it's a 2002, which is not the greatest vintage that ever walked the street. But I'm excited about trying this wine. Again, I've had this wine a couple of times, but the random robot, picked it, so what are you going to do? It's nice and chillier. This actually came from the wine room, so it's a little bit cooler. I like to tone it down. I'm a big proponent, big fan, big pusher of room temperature. I think that the cold hides a lot of the flavors. Reminds me of the kids that want to drink beer. They don't want to really drink it. They just want to be cool. I understand. Some people aren't naturally cool, you know, so you got to drink the beer. Anyway, let's give this a little bit of a sniffy sniff. You know, and this is why you get so attracted to Bordeaux after you drink wine for a long time. As your palate develops and as you get into wine, you really go through the fruit phase and then you go into the crap phase. And right now, I am in the crap phase. I mean, this wine smells like a porta potty after somebody took a dump at a Jets game. I mean, it just does. I mean, there's nothing else to say. I know that sounds about as intriguing as a punch to the face, but that is intriguing in red wine when it's surrounded by the cinnamon and by the plum that's coming through. And there's just a smokiness component to this, almost like a, you know, I'm thinking of pig roast. It makes me think of a pig roast right now. And I like it. Almost like sour, almost like warm 5-day-old V8 juice that sat on your counter, coming through a little bit on the nose. Is very intriguing. This is really up my alley, but definitely not for everybody. Let's give this a little bit of a tasty taste. This wine's a tremendous case study of producer over vintage. 2002 was a very difficult vintage in the Bordeaux region as a whole. And Pavie is a tremendous producer, a little new world for a lot of Bordeaux wine fans, but definitely not like the fruit bombs that we see over here. And this wine brings a lot of complexity to the table. It's got tremendous mouthfeel, very silky. It's got some nice dark pepper component coming on. I do get dill on this wine, green peppers. I'm also getting almost like potato peel on the flavor profile as well, which is quite interesting. You can't deny the vegetal component in this wine. There's also a little bit of a coffee component. So it's almost like taking like science project time, a V8 juice, I'm going there again, and a Starbucks coffee, and going 50-50, giving a little bit of a whirl, tasting it. How can't that be a $100 value? That being said, this wine is bringing very serious thunder, specifically to my palate. This is the one that I have to put an asterisk. Please be aware that this may not be, you know, that kind of thing. At the end of the radio commercials, you know how they do that? You end up paying 16 times more than regular. Anyway, this is a very intriguing wine, one that I think sophisticated palates will really enjoy because it's bringing a lot of different flavors. It's not delicious like the Tate is. It's kind of really in a weird order. These wines are kind of interesting, from like biggest explosiveness to the medium ground to something that's a little bit more earthy and in tune, but I'm really enjoying with this wine. This wine is food wine. Parker 94, I'm going to go right in the same range. This wine's really bringing serious complexities I'm still tasting the wine. The finish is extremely long. I'm very impressed. This is the kind of wine I would adore to have with a meat mushroom dish. For myself, I'm a huge fan of the mushrooms. You know, a little truffle action too. Let's get really serious. You know, this to me is a 93+ point wine at 100 bones. Is that a buy? Probably not to a lot of people. But if you can ball that way, if you can roll that way, if your name is LeBron James, this is something you need to seriously seek out because this brings some serious thunder. I'm gonna sip on this while I do the questions. If you're new to the show, if you want me to do your questions live, semi-live, on Wine Library TV, I will every Friday on the couch because we lay it back. And the way you do that is by going to the network. Up top, the link up there, network, and click on Ask, or from winelibrary.com, there's a link right at the top. We should make it easier probably from Wine Library TV, but it's a different story for a different day. And let's get right into the questions. First question, asked by Luke. Would you recommend shipping to the Midwest in the month of August? It's pretty hot. But your frequently asked questions mentions that you ship materials pretty resistant. Luke, heat, but I'm going to say it again, I've said it a whole lot of times. Wine is much tougher than you think. These wines, they roll with tattoos. You know, like the armband tattoo, that means you're officially tough. You know, these guys are seriously a lot tougher than people think. If you don't believe it, trust me, the way most wines in America are being distributed to the retail stores is not temperature controlled from the warehouse, and there's a whole lot going on. I mean, wine is just much tougher. Do I recommend it? Heck, I don't want to see it at 100 degrees, but I honestly think a day or two in even 85-degree temperature with the styrofoam that most wine companies use shipping wine is more than fine. At the end of the day, it's totally your choice. I really don't mind, or whatever you people need. But I think one thing that people should definitely know, because people walk around with wine like it's like a baby. You know how they have this soft spot in its head when it's first young, and I'm like all scared to do anything. That's how people treat wine all the time. Wine's tough. I mean, think about how all the wine that was consumed from the 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s, on all these big dinners that I get invited to and have gone to. I mean, these wines were not kept properly in 94% of the time. So, throwing that out there. Gordy Flaka says, how long should I age Chenin Blanc? For example, the 05 Beaumards that were recently released. Also, the best temperature to serve these wines. Great question. Chenin Blanc is such an underrated grape variety. A lot of people think Chenin Blanc is bobo and stinks. I'm telling you right now, Chenin Blanc, especially in dessert wine form, are some of the most intriguing white wines in the world. As for the Beaumards that we did one last Friday, I think, and not even the top one, the Côte de Chaume. I mean, these wines can last 20 to 50 years, and I'm not kidding. They can also be drank now and are tremendous that way. Really exciting wines. I love serving them at room temperature. 95% of the people love to serve them nice and chilled out of the fridge. That's just on you. Denise, big time Vaniac, old school Denise, says, Wine Library Super Tasting 2007. I needed to bring this up. Denise asked the question. She just laid it up for me, and I'm going to knock it out of the park. Denise, Gary, before I commit to an October New York City offline, I was wondering if you're still planning on doing a Wine Library Super Tasting this year. It was absolutely amazing last year. I know I've been a little out of the loop, and I realize I could be asking a really obvious question here, but I can't seem to find any information. Please advise. Thanks. Your #1 fan, Denise. Denise, my #1 fan. I want to see some comments if they want to claim they're bigger fans than Denise. I want to get a little battle royal action. P.S. Have a great time in Hungary. So it's a little old. July 21st. Denise, we are doing the Super Tasting. Ma, do you know the episode where there's footage from the Super Tasting? If somebody knows, they should just post it in the comments. We have a little footage from last year's Super Tasting. We are doing it the Monday and the Tuesday of Columbus Day. This is road trip time, people. This is a big time event. If you went last year, leave some comments. It's time to get the buzz going. I'm going to be there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. Super Tasting kicks. Mott's going to be there. It's getting crazy. And finally, is there anything else I want to talk about? Not really. I think we're good. Nothing else, right? We're good. Finally, Fred in NYC asks, does anyone here ever freeze wine? And the reason he's asking, does anyone here, one last time, about the network, when you go to ask, you can answer questions for your fellow Vaniacs. I love to see if people are doing it. It's a great place. But he's saying, has anybody freezed wine? I was told that if you open a bottle of wine that you can't finish, you can put it in the freezer to preserve it until such time if you want to finish it, and defrost it. Since the bottle's not full, the air will prevent it from cracking. Anyone else use this method? If so, how is the wine tasted after the fact? Fred, that is the most insane thing I've ever heard. That is so WLTV. That is completely beyond. I've never heard that. I've absolutely never heard that. That is insane. I love it. We're going to do it on WLTV, and we're going to see what the effects are. We're going to have the freezer. We're going to have the microwave. I mean, we're going to have to defrost that wine. My gut is, I don't even know what my gut is. That is completely outside the box. That's something we got to do. I love the Vaniacs. These are the questions. This is why this place rules. Maybe it does mean. What do the dimes mean? Figure it out. The old school Vaniacs know. Got to keep some inside jokes for these people. Question of the day. Next week, I want to theme it up. Theme it up. Give a little education. Go real specific. 4 wines, same region, same vintage, same producer, same varietal. You know, so somebody told me about Lopez de Heredia. That was a great idea. I know one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to do sherry next week. It is way overdue. All the sherry heads are going to get real pumped. It's wait. We can even play that song. There's a sherry song. Sherry, right? Yeah. I'm going to do that. I'm asking you, what themes should I attack next week? Because you, with a little bit of me, we are changing the wine world.